Hey, aloha, this is Harry from Kailua. Let's today look at 3 different guitars. This is one of the 3 that my friend Rollo built in Kailua. And this one's going to go to California. This is Patti's guitar. All 3 guitars are from the same koa tree that fell on Tantalus. So let's check it out.
Wind's gonna blow, so I'm gonna go down on the road again. Starting where the mountains left me, I end up where I began. Where I will go, the wind only knows. Good times around the bend. Get in my car, I'm going too far, never coming back again. Tired and worn, I woke up this morning, found that I was confused. Spun right around and found I had lost the things that I couldn't lose. The beaches they sell to build hotels, my father and I once knew. Birds all along the sunlight at dawn, singing Waimanalo blues. Down on the road with mountains soared, far on the countryside. Birds on the wings forget in a while, so I'm headed for the windward side. In all of your dreams, sometimes it just seems that I'm too long for the ride. Some they will cry because they have pride, but someone who loved here dies. The beaches they sell to build hotels, my father and I once knew. Birds all along the sunlight at dawn, singing Waimanalo blues, singing Waimanalo blues, singing Waimanalo blues.
For coming and kind of seeing this instrument, and thank Keith for commissioning this instrument, and which just created a unique instrument using the woods that you have. Is Stephen is the one that has part of the...
Steve Montgomery, whom if you read the Sierra Club newsletter or something, his name's in there all the time. But yeah, Steve and I have hiked together for 25 or 30 years in remote parts of the islands, and he was on an expedition. We were on an expedition together to gather dead rare wood north of Kona. And so 20 years ago, and so the fretboard is uhi, which is historically important wood to the Hawaiians. And then some of the trim and
Well, this is uhi.
that also is uhi. And then some of the trim is a rare tree called mehamehame, which is so rare that I've only seen one live one in all the years I've been hiking. And Steve led us to that, and we picked up every piece of dead wood under it we could find.
Wow.
That's the bindings here,
The bindings.
and it runs around with the tail graft here. That's also the mehami.
Mehame. Yeah.
And then the perforating lines, when you look at it up closely here, we have that mehami, and then we have koa, a line of koa here, which came off of the same tree that this came off of. And that is what this rosette, the center part of this rosette, is that curly sapwood of that particular tree. And this was bent in for that diameter, and we have that continue out, and then the other dark line here is also the mehami.
The koa came from a wind-blowing tree in a yard up on Tantalus. I didn't get the tree, but both Rollo and I know the guy who got the tree. And sawmill at the sawmill, he called us and said he had this exceptionally curly koa. And Rollo bought a few boards, and then I went out there and I bought every board I could get my hands on, and there weren't very many, at least when I got there.
Yeah.
And when I saw the curl, this was like 10 years ago, and we air dried it ever since. And show them the back of the
Yeah,
headstock.
this was also, that was the main,
Uhi.
that's the uhu, that's
Yeah.
right.
And then the back is a piece of crotch grain from the same koa tree, a different board from the same tree.
Wow.
Yeah, and that other underlayment that is on this overlayment is more of that sapwood from this tree, and it's also curly. So when you look at it, you can see the figure on the edges of it, and also down through here.
Now the neck is Cuban mahogany. The same sawmill got the Cuban mahogany, and we think it's a tree from Pearl Harbor when they were doing the housing development. But Cuban mahogany makes one of the most stable necks for lack of movement. So that's why it's chosen for necks a lot. For musical instruments.
Show them the back of the headstock up close.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's such an incredible
Yeah.
piece of wood.
Well, Keith, you said
And the black here would be
that's ebony.
ebony.
Yeah,
You buy those ready to go.
yeah, the
African.
tuning knobs
Yeah.
are on it.
Oh, they're already constructed. Good
You
thing.
can see that figure. It probably looks a little bit more dramatic when you see it like this, because it actually gets the shape of the headstock itself. There was a little story that went along with
Go
this.
ahead
is
and
that
tell them. Yeah.
I had another set of overlay that was on this particular, on the back of this headstock, but I found out when I put my tuners, started dry feeding my tuners, that they were a little bit, the headstock was a little bit too thick. And, but when I was sanding this, I was sanding a bunch of different pieces, and because they were small, on my sander you need to have something a foot long, but they were smaller, shorter than that. And it has a tendency to kick back, and you might lose them, because I'm sanding this down to about 30,000ths of an inch thick, which is a 32nd of an inch. It's really thin. And I lost this one piece, and I go, geez, it really made me mad, you know, that I had another one that I had sanded as well, a different taking from this piece of wood, and it survived, and so I put it on. But when I discovered that my headstock was a little too thick, I go, oh, I got to take this off in order to reduce the headstock. And it just so happened that I pushed my car out of it, my Volvo that I keep, and it was laying underneath my car, so I was able to use it. Yeah, you see that.